way. Get way more.
Citi 97.3.
Accra.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Citi Prime News on 97.3 FM. We're live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop here in Adabraka in Accra. We're also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the world. We are live on citinewsroom.com. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. This afternoon, I'm here with
Hawa Idris Mustafa.
Now, if you are in the Western region, you are listening to us live on Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi and Beach 105.5 FM also in Takoradi. In the Bono region, we are live on Greener FM 95.5 from 9 FM rather in Sunyani. And in the Shanti region, we are live on Orange FM on 107.9 in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are live on Heritage FM at 107.3 FM in Hohoi. In the Northern region, we are live on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. If you are in the Upper West region, you are listening to us via Westlink on 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the Upper East region, you are listening to us live on Word FM at 88.3 FM in Zwarungo. And in the Northeast region, we are live on Eagle FM at 94.1 FM in Wale Wale. In this afternoon's edition, Supreme Court Judge nominee Justice Anthony Kofi expresses worry over the corruption tag associated with the judiciary as he answers questions from MPs at its vetting in Parliament.
The perception of corruption, some of them are actually unfounded. Somebody goes to court, he loses a case, there's corruption.
Also coming up, the nominee has been asked to produce a new tax certificate after committee members raised issues of discrepancies. And later, spokesperson for the New Force political movement deported to a home country after the state on Tuesday dropped charges against her.
I picked information that sometime last night she was seen being escorted to board, I think, the Brussels airline.
Still ahead, governing New Patriotic Party opens nomination for parliamentary primaries in constituencies where it has sitting MPs.
As at 11 yesterday, every region had received the allocation of the forms, and regions also dispatched these forms to the various constituencies.
Still to come, shock in Takwa Nswayam district as a man who died more than a week before yesterday's assembly elections got elected to be two other contestants. His widow says it's a vote of confidence in his late husband.
Yesterday I went out to vote. I voted for him, although I know my husband is no more, but I voted for him. And I was shocked the support that they gave him. That shows that they appreciated whatever he came to do.
An interesting one there. But meanwhile, management of Citi TV signs a memorandum of understanding with the Ghana Athletics Association to co-organize the National Invitational Schools Athletics Championship.
We came into this agreement with Ghana Athletics, not just to promote, but to also help organize the whole event come the month of February.
We have all this and more on Citi Prime News.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
We'll start with issues to do with law, and a justice of the appeals court, Anthony Henry Kofi, has expressed his disagreement with the proposal to legislate a law regulating contempt of court. The suggestion was made by MP for Medina Francis Xavier Sosu, who highlighted the need to regulate how judges handle contempt, emphasizing its impact on free expression. In response, Justice Kofi asserted that while contempt is not frequently applied, it serves as a crucial power empowering judges against misguided individuals aiming to abuse and threaten the judiciary. He conveyed this stance during his appearance before the Appointments Committee of Parliament for vetting following his nomination to the Supreme Court.
But in all honesty, how many contempt cases comes before the courts across the country in a year? Very few. And where people make so much noise is the contempt involving the media. Seems to me that's where the problem really is. People say, oh, this judge, this media house, this journalist is being... But judges are attacked, people are hounded. They use all manner of strange language. And the court has no... If you like, we don't carry guns. The only power a judge has, and that's used. It's not something that we use. Every day. I don't even remember for the number of years that I have sat as a judge to have convicted somebody of contempt. And I know a lot of my friends, my colleagues, have the same attitude. But you see, sometimes people should be able to control their emotions, their language, and recognize that judges are also human beings. You attack, you hound, you insult. It's our way of making sure that such a person is brought to justice, to know that at least, even though we don't carry a gun, that is the only way we can also... Yes, that's when that is your gun. I don't think that there should be a law.
Men on issues concerning salaries for Article 71 holders, Justice Henry Kofi disclosed that judges are presently relying on salaries fixed in 2020, foregoing 3 years of incremental adjustments. He emphasized that regular salary increments in accordance with Article 71 of the 1992 Constitution would mitigate controversies surrounding judges' compensation.
As I sit here, I and all my colleagues take on the salary determined by the committee that finished its work in 2020 and came out with a salary. So as I sit here, including her ladyship, the chief justice, we are all on 2020 salary, 2021, 2022. We are in 2023. Not even COLA. Honorable member, you know that some people took COLA. We haven't taken anything. So next, I know the president has set up another committee as required under Article 71. Now, if the committee comes out and says next year that in 2021, because obviously it has to start from 2020, in 2021, what you should actually have taken was this 5% over what you were taking in 2020. In 2022, 2023, 2024. That is how the progression is done. And then the difference is paid to me. That is what I should actually have taken. I think if we want to do it the right way, we should forget about this one and pay ourselves every year.
We'll still stay with Justice Anthony Henry Kofi and how I'll give us some more angles to the story.
On matters of corruption, the nominee expressed worry over the corruption perception associated with the judiciary, and he dispelled all notions but firmly held the view that the judiciary should properly engineer its communication in order to regain public confidence.
The association has not basically set out to disabuse the minds of the public, but every time we have the opportunity, that is the perception of corruption. Some of them are actually unfounded. Somebody goes to court, he loses a case, there's corruption. Somebody goes to court, he misconducts himself, something happens, there's corruption. Unfortunately, we as judges cannot sit and make press conferences and say that, oh, this is this. We don't do those kind of. Honorable member, I agree with you. Communication in this age is extremely important with social media, all sorts of media outlets. It's very important that I do know that the current Chief Justice, I've heard her opening new courts and telling people about the fact that we as a judiciary are against corruption. She's been saying it all. In fact, the previous Chief Justice was doing the same thing, talking about the fact that the judiciary is against, it's not a corrupt institution we are against, and people who have complaints should come forward. Of course, I agree with you that probably we need to look at our communication department. It's something I have personally also been advocating for. We need a very strong communications, or if you like, public relations department to speak for us.
Right. Meanwhile, Parliament has asked the nominee to produce a tax certificate after the Minority Leader Shailaa Abusi and raised issues of discrepancies in his certificate. According to the Minority Leader, the tax certificate presented by the nominee recorded zero figures against his income over the period. This is what transpired at the committee.
We have a division, a salary division, and they asked for my salary. I asked them to print the salary that are for over a 3-year period. And then they took it and submitted it to GRA. They brought this to me. I didn't actually go to GRA myself. They submitted it, then they brought this. And I saw Misha Dai, who's an Amwa at the bottom. So I assumed that it was proper document coming from a proper source.
Did you review the document, the certificate, or you read the certificate before you submitted it to us?
Yes, I saw it, Honorable. I saw it.
And you think there was nothing wrong with the certificate before us?
Because I had attached the payslip, I had assumed that I had taken into consideration the fact that my salary had been deducted at source. So they were aware that my salary was deducted at source.
No, the question here is, if you had paid attention to the certificate that was issued by the Ghana Revenue Authority, you would have seen that there was something wrong with it. Because it says on the face of the certificate that between 2021 to 2023, you have not earned any income. Aside, you have not paid any tax. And that is why I'm asking, did you had an opportunity to review the document before submitting it to us?
I don't see where it says that I have not received any income, honestly.
The document before us does not conform with the honorable nominee's employment status. And there's the need for GRA to resubmit the tax clearance certificate. Or maybe the committee will have to write to the GRA to get them to conform, because what is before us does not qualify as tax clearance certificate, considering the fact that the nominee before us has been a judge since 2023. Chairman, I make the application before you.
So that's the Minority Leader, Dr. Shailaa Abusi, in an interaction with the Supreme Court nominee, Justice Anthony Henry Kofi. In a few minutes, we'll take you back to Parliament, where that vetting continues after they took a break. But before that, let's bring you some more stories, because the New Force political movement spokesperson, Shailaa Abusi, has been deported to her home country, Belgium. This happened after the state dropped the charge of obtaining a student permit on Tuesday with a false declaration against her. Her lawyers had accused the Ghana Immigration Service of seeking to deport her as a reason for the withdrawal of the charge. But the service explained that a decision was yet to be taken on her fate. But in an interview with Citi News lead counsel for the deportee, Francis Xavier Sosu, who confirmed their exit, described the mode of her deportation as an affront to the fundamental human rights.
To the best of my knowledge, I picked information that sometime last night she was seen being escorted to board, I think, the Brussels airline back to Belgium through Brussels. And so I'm yet to find out exactly whether she has safely arrived or not. But clearly, this is so shameful and disgraceful because she was not deported from Ghana, and there was no deportation order by the minister by an executive instrument. And so even holding her and denying her access to her lawyers and family and escorting her with men in uniform was a violation. That was a clear violation. Because when you say that you have revoked the person's visa and giving her a letter and say that leave our jurisdiction within 24 hours, she can move from Ghana to Togo. She can move she has a liberty to move anywhere else that she can go. But to hold the person after you've served her with those letters at the NIB was a violation of the right to freedom of movement. It actually violated her seriously.
So you heard there the lead counsel for the spokesperson of the New Force political movement, Francis Xavier Sosu.
The governing New Patriotic Party (NPP) has opened nominations for parliamentary primaries in constituencies where it has sitting MPs. The nominations, which were opened today, will close on Saturday, December 23. Some constituencies, including Domko Abenya, Bantima, Ayawasa Central, and Nsawam Adrajiri, are expected to be places of interest due to the contestants. The party has urged all stakeholders to adhere strictly to rules governing the process. Here is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, on the process.
Today, all regions have received their forms. As at 11 yesterday, every region has received the allocation of the forms, and regions also dispatched these forms to the various constituencies. I was in the Ahafo region. I met with the 4 constituency secretaries who are secretaries to the elections committee, and I personally handed over the forms to them. So as we speak, all the constituencies have their forms, and they open at 8:30 and close at 5 p.m. as nominations opens from today and closes on 25th of December. Everything is set at our side, and we are doing everything possible to make sure that this election remains free and fair.
The party before today gave out some guidelines. What do you expect from aspirants?
I think that aspirants, as they pick their forms, will see the guidelines that the party has approved at National Council per the approval of the National Executive Committee. So all guidelines are in there, and the party will issue the next appropriate guidelines that will cover these elections for the period that's stipulated in the approval. The elections that was organized for the orphan constituencies came with it guidelines. This one will also have the necessary guidelines, either going to be the same or if there is variation, will be indicated and signed by the General Secretary.
Deputy General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed.
Let's bring you some more stories. And the wife of the late assembly member of the Tebrebe electoral area in Takwa in the Western region, who died on his way to campaign, says the victory her dead husband chalked yesterday was an endorsement of his works. Manasseh Addison Saki, who was the incumbent assemblyman, drowned in a river on Monday, December 4, while on his way to campaign in nearby villages. At the close of polls in the electoral area yesterday, the deceased assemblyman obtained 860 votes, beating 2 others to emerge the winner. In an interview with Citi News, the widow, Vida Addison Saki, expressed appreciation to electorates for honoring her deceased husband.
I was overwhelmed. Yesterday, I went out to vote. I voted for him, although I know my husband is no more, but I voted for him. And later in the night, I heard a crowd making noise, saying my husband has won. I was overwhelmed. And I appreciated the guys that they've done a marvelous job. Because upon all what they did, I think in the morning, the ballot paper, they crossed out his name on the ballot paper. So they were saying whether you vote for him or not, they will not count as his vote. But the people voted. Whether they have cancelled the faith, but they still voted. And I was shocked the support that they gave him. That shows that they appreciated whatever he came to do. All the things that he did, they appreciated it. And yesterday they were in my house. I thank them so much for what they have done, whether he's alive or not alive. I know wherever my husband is, he's rejoicing that the people have seen what he has done. So we were happy. Although I was crying, but it was a mixed feeling yesterday, and I give all glory to the Most High God.
That's Vida Addison Saki. She's a wife of the late assembly member for the Tebrebe electoral area in Takwa in the Western region. Meanwhile, a former NDC constituency secretary for Takwa and Swaham, George Gad, who campaigned for the deceased assemblyman, says they may support the widow should she run for the position.
For us, it was a show of appreciation. We just wanted the electorate in his electoral area to be kind towards his good works and show appreciation for whatever he did since he became the assembly member in his electoral area.
Would you support his wife should she decide to run?
Yes, of course. If she decides to run, I mean, this is a very competent woman, very educated, professional teacher, hardworking. She has been in the community with our late brother for all these years. The community members, they know her. So if the family agrees and she also agrees that she will continue the good work her late husband was doing, we don't have any problem. We will provide every support, be it material, humanly, everything possible to make sure she succeeds her late husband.
That's George Gad. He's a former NDC constituency secretary for the Takwa and Swaham area in the Western region. Hawa has some more stories.
Citi TV has entered into a partnership with the Ghana Athletics Association to organize the National Invitational Schools Athletics Championship in Accra. The memorandum of understanding signed between the two entities aims to promote the competition, which will feature athletes from 50 senior high schools across the country. The three-day event is designed to mirror successful athletes, models from countries such as Jamaica and the United States. Here is Managing Director for Citi TV, Samuel Atamensa, on the latest initiative with the Ghana Athletics Association.
The Citi family tries to follow through what we believe is the heartbeat of the nation. And so when it comes to sports, and every citizen who's been through, basic education, second cycle education in Ghana would know the place of sports in the hearts of Ghanaians. And looking at the way sports is playing up at a global level, we believe that the missing link in Ghana actually is a media platform that will be dedicated to promoting that particular sporting discipline of athletics, which was so dear to our hearts when we were younger, in secondary schools. And we think that it still exists, but we haven't given it the needed thrust through the media. So as consistent with a lot of the things we do at Citi TV, it's a Ghana thing. And for us, any and everything Ghana is something that we embrace. And within the sporting space, we have pushed the cross-country, we have pushed the swimming, we have done tennis, in partnership with the Ghana tennis guys. And so for this one, we thought that we should give it a more formal structure, and which is the reason we came into this agreement with Ghana Athletics, not just to promote, but to also help organize the whole event come the month of February.
Samuel Atamensa is managing director for Citi TV. Now, the Ghana Athletics Association president Bawa Fuseni says the National Invitational Schools Athletics Championship will build a strong foundation for the national team to compete at the 2023 African Games and beyond.
It fits in very, very well, and it's going to be the cornerstone for our foundation in building a very formidable national team for the African Games and beyond. Because school sports is huge. I remember we want to have a similar program like the one they have in Jamaica and the one they have in the US called the conference. The conference is the cream de la cream of all American student athletes that come to the conference. And the Jamaica too is they have the best competition you can get in Jamaica. That's what we also want to replicate. We're going to invite the best schools in Ghana to converge in Accra for 4 days athletic fiesta in Accra. And we could not have done it a better way than doing it with Citi TV.
How would the slots be allotted to the regions, the various regions? Would it be done on competitive basis? What will influence the allotment of the slots for the various regional schools?
Yes, we are doing it together with the Ghana Education Service, and they know the school better than we do. So we give them the opportunity to select the best schools from each region. We know some schools in central region, St. Augustine, Fansipim, Wegehe, Fansamam. We also know the schools that are predominantly doing well in athletics. But we will not do it ourselves. We will ask the Ghana Education Service through the National PE Coordinator Office. So they will give us, but we'll give them the quota. We'll give them the number of schools that we are requesting from each region so that they will select the teams for it. They know the team. Roughly, we are looking at about 45 to 50 schools in Ghana, and each school will come with not less than 30 athletes. So we are looking at about 1,400, 1,500 student athletes to converge in Accra for the 4 days athletic fiesta.
That was the president of the Ghana Athletics Association, Bawa Fuseni.
We'll take you back to Parliament and bring you live feed for the continuation of the Appointments Committee vetting of some nominations to the Supreme Court. Currently, the vetting for Justice Yao Dako Asari is going on. So we'll take leave of you. Thank you so much for joining us in this short version of Citi Prime News. My name is Vivian Kailoko. I was here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Let's go to the Appointments Committee of Parliament.
Citi